Welcome to TechTalks Life Science Edition. Today we will discuss the breakthrough technologies that ensure safety, purity and reliability of everything from laboratory gases to essential filtration systems. How are these advancements transforming patient safety and pharmaceutical manufacturing? What roles does software play in guaranteeing ultra-high purity, and what trends are set to revolutionize life science? Join me as I sit down with leading voices to uncover answers at the intersection of science, technology, and human well-being. With me here today, I have
Rodolfo Reimberg. I'm the Vice President Marketing for Filtration.
Isabelle De Wolf, VP Engineering Manager Filtration.
Craig Ranalli, Business Development and Operations Manager for Specialty Gas Equipment.
Ben Levine, a Manager of Software and Embedded Development.
Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start with a warm-up question. What inspired you to work in life science, and what excites you the most about it today?
Life science is really interesting because it's where technology, innovation, and purpose, they all come together in the same place. A lot of things are happening nowadays in life science, a lot of new developments, a lot of new technologies. So it's really exciting to be in this environment of new things happens every day, and you need to read a lot and keep updated with everything. But what really motivates me is, that we do all of this to improve people's life. So we improve the world. It's nice to leave the world in a better place than when we found it, when we came here. So that's what's really inspiring me.
Yeah, what I felt, so when I started working in air purity over 25 years ago, what I felt immediately connected to it. So what is really incredible is what a simple thing as a piece of white paper can achieve. It's the filtration media. So this world of filtration, it's really vast and diverse. It's rich innovation. It's a lot of applications. And in fact, filtration is like a silent force. It is invisible, but yet it is absolutely essential. And most of the people don't know how much science and engineering is behind a single filter.
Life science research is a natural adjacency to the healthcare sector, which we've supported for many, many, many years. So a lot of the same players in the construction supply chain for healthcare are also present in life science research facility construction. So our clients have trusted us for decades to supply medical gases to their patients, life support systems. So why not supply high purity gases to their laboratories? So we're exposed to a lot of new and innovative work on a regular basis. So it's exciting to learn from the client, who in most cases is the best teacher.
As an electrical engineer, you can kind of pick whatever field you want to go to, and you figure out who matches your personality the most. And when I was introduced to the products in the process, that was, I think, the most fascinating thing to me. So also having a background in physics, just understanding how the different devices work together and what we're able to do with the products, it was really fascinating. And in addition, the people just, that were explaining these to me, the passion that they had for the products, and you could tell, their background really made a difference for me. And I think it rubbed off, because still to this day, one of my favorite things to do is to show one of the products and to, describe the workings. And it's really kind of the cool factor of the products.
Do you have a personal favorite when it comes to showing off your products?
Yes. The medical air compressors, I think, are one of the most innovative products we have in terms of our interface for the customers, and as well just the engineering that goes behind the redundancy of the machine to make sure that it can never fail to operate in the hospital.
Can you give me some examples of where your technologies make a difference in people's lives? If we start with you, Ben.
Yeah, sure. A huge difference for our products, and the difference it makes in the people who are using it in their life is our ability to communicate what the user actually needs to do through the interface of the product. So when it comes to risk management for facilities, they're often trying to work on what types of trainings do they need to make sure that people are prepared and what they need to do. And we make it really easy by building even custom instructions into the interface that the user can set for themselves. And this way they don't have to worry about if the user remembers what they were supposed to do, go find a book, open it, call someone. They can put that directly into the product. So I feel like that's a real game changer for the customers.
We've developed an indoor solution to feed cryogenic fluid to a large number of cryogenic cryopreservation freezers in vitro fertilization clinics, IVFs. That's really important in urban settings where large outdoor storage tanks may not be feasible. So we feel like it's removed some geographical barriers and improved access for families that wish to start their IVF journey.
One good example is our development of sterile filtration solutions for the pharma applications. So by working closely with biotech partners, we have designed filters that really meet high standards. So they we could improve the purity of the active ingredients of the medicines. And purity matters because it directly impacts the safety and also the healing power of the medicines. Too low purities can cause reduced effectiveness and also unwanted side effects. So that was a great achievement.
Yeah.
For me, working like them, it's also very exciting. I think we also have products for IVF OEMs. So I work close to Isabelle on these sterile grade filters. But I think one example I would like to bring is about food and beverage, which is also life science. So last year we partnered up with a startup. They are producing cultivated meat. And now they are going into commercial scale now, beginning next year. And you see, this is something very interesting because we can, at the same time, address the hunger problem in the world. So we can produce good proteins for the people, at the same time protecting the environment because the way we produce it is much less harmless to the environment. So I think this is a very good example that life science improves the life of people at the same time protects the environment. Very exciting.
And this cultivated meat you're talking about, from what I understand, it's still quite expensive, right? What are the hurdles for scaling it up to something everyone could?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about volume. I think that's why we are doing today. They are still producing in small scale. The moment we get a larger scale, the costs will go down because at the end you can produce proteins out of the sugar, let's say, out of a basis, plant basis thing. So I think it's all about scale. And I think it's coming. It will be in the next coming years, we'll see this becoming more and more common and natural for us.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
Yes, I tried. Yeah, and it tastes really like the normal meat. I think, you cannot differentiate one from the other.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, why is filtration critical in medical air and gas supply? And what risk would arise without it, Isabelle?
Filtration in medical air and in gas supply systems is really vital. It's even life-saving. Without proper filtration, organisms like oil or particles or even bacteria, viruses, they can reach patients and causing infections could lead to complications also. So our systems, how we design our systems, they have built-in redundancy, also continuous monitoring, and they always meet the highest strict medical standards. That's how we really manage the safety of our patients.
And in what type of products would we find your filters? So everyone understands.
Well, our filters, for example, if you look to the compressor rooms of the hospitals, in those compressor rooms, there is air created, but also oxygen. And there is also the vacuum systems, which sucks back the air. And it's basically there that we already start with the highest standards of filtration to make sure that once it leaves the compressor room, it already meets the medical standards. And then it goes through the pipelines, and then it enters the patient rooms. And then even at that point of use, there is more filtration to make sure that every contamination during the pipelines is again filtered to the highest standards. So we are 100% sure that these patients are safe.
Let's take a look at how the needs for filtration in life science industries are evolving. Are there any trends shaping the development, Rodolfo?
Yeah. So it's a big transformation we are facing now. I think the entire medicine manufacturing is changing over the time. All the pharmaceuticals industry is changing. In the past, we used to produce big batches were a single drug, which means that you have big installations with stainless steel and so on. Now, the medicine development, it's becoming more personalized. So it's becoming more tailored to the patient, meaning that we need smaller batches. This means that instead of big stainless steel installations, they are more using single-use installations. And change a lot the batches. Means that for us, means that we need to be very agile in the product development. We need to attend the customer needs for every single new drug development that we have. That's because we keep the same quality constraints that we had before. So it's not that because we produce in smaller scale that we can compromise. As a matter of fact, if you see this quality and this validation process is becoming more and more stringent. I mean, it's becoming more critical in the companies, not only on the pharmaceuticals, but also on the food and beverage. So, which is making the filtration more and more technical.
Yeah, and that goes a bit hand in hand with what is going on with filtration itself. So filtration is becoming smarter and also more targeted. So instead of filtering everything above a certain size, so it's more and more that certain molecules are targeted. So it's working like a key lock system, where receptors are put on membranes, and they act like locks. And then the air comes in, and certain molecules bind with that locks. So it's like matching keys. So this evolution really gives opportunities for pharma, precision pharma, and diagnostics. So nice evolution.
So Ben, how are new software controlling units helping researchers achieve their required gas purity?
Yeah, one of the main rules we always have is that we have to supply the right gas. So a lot of the controls that go into maintaining those products have to be highly redundant. So when we think about designing a product or having something, we think about it as if you think about a car and you say you're going to design a car that has to drive on the highway constantly. So you may have to have two engines in the car in case one of them fails to work, or a backup battery system for electrical operation. Your tires, if one of them goes flat, you have to be able to change the tire while you're going down the road. So we have to have systems that are able to be maintained and have a high level of trust in them, so that they'll always be supplying. In addition, it's also the usefulness of the products through the user interface. So we'll map the user stories of who's going to be involved in this product from the person who would maintain the equipment to the person who would actually maybe be the end user. And we need to understand what makes sense for that person when they interact with the product. How do we make it work best for them? And I think a lot of the years of medical background that we've had for medical products really goes into the life science as well, to make sure that we can give that same level of trust and redundancy in the products.
Yeah, I would just add, Ben, that many researchers working in life science, consider that their supplies of nitrogen or vacuum or clean compressed air are critical services, the same as patient gases almost. So I think that we have a very unique perspective approaching that with our decades of experience designing and supplying equipment that, as Ben says, can never shut down. So that's the underlying assumption in everything that we design, and I think it served the market well.
Yeah, I think it's great that you bring up uptime because a lot of times we may think of products and their uptime, and that might be a KPI of how well if something performs. And for us, it's more like a 100% uptime is the only thing that's acceptable. Anything less than 100% is really a failure or potential catastrophe. So,
Yeah.
Agree.
yeah,
So I guess your products, it's a matter of life and death.
absolutely. Yeah.
If we dig a bit deeper into new research areas, what roles do laboratory fluids play in, let's say, cell therapy or IVF?
A very important role indeed. So when we're talking about fluids, we're talking about both high purity gases and then ultra cold liquids such as cryogenic nitrogen. So from a cell therapy perspective, it's very important to simulate in vivo conditions, meaning the conditions inside the human body. So, for example, hypoxia is a method of intentionally reducing the oxygen level in a cell culture to simulate, say, a tumor. So cancer cells behave very differently under hypoxia than they would, in just ambient air. So it's a way that we help our clients, our research clients, simulate human physiology. And regarding the in vitro fertilization, very similarly, our divisional ethos is caring for life. Okay. So in the IVF example, our high purity gas equipment feeds the specialized incubators that promote fertilization, which is a process that takes about anywhere from 2 to 5 days. And then the other fluid being the liquid nitrogen system, the cryogenic system, is designed to keep the cryopreservation freezers ultra cold for preservation of the embryos for future use. So when we say caring for life, that also means future life.
On these incubators, we also supply them the filters to the OEMs that produce these incubators to make sure there is no bacteria or external microorganisms getting into the incubators and protecting the future lives as well. So that's also part of our scope.
And you talked about ultra cold. How cold is that?
Well, the boiling point of liquid nitrogen is minus 196 C, so there or even colder.
I would imagine there are quite strict regulations when it comes to life science and healthcare. So how do you balance these with the need to innovate? And how do global standards and sustainability goals influence your work?
In life science and healthcare, there is no room for error. So compliance to the strict regulations is, in fact, a bare minimum because it's all about the patient safety. So there is actually no balance to take with innovation. On the other hand, innovation is absolutely essential. And that's also why we invest a lot in research and building knowledge. So we are building R&D labs currently in Belgium for the development of advanced filtration media and also engineering solutions. And when it comes to the global standards, like you have the Food and Drug Administration, that's basically part of our daily reality. Also the sustainability goals, they are embedded in our work. So we go from energy efficient designs to long-lasting materials. So that's daily business. So that's the basics.
And from the product development side, when we approach this and we have regulations, We really approach things as whether something is mission critical and part of a regulation or whether something is a feature and a value add for the customer. And then we have to approach both in the electronics and the software, actually siloing these so that we have our mission critical items that have to be handled in the way that they need to be handled always for the customer. And then our ability to innovate comes as a secondary process, something that maybe can be interrupted or can have an issue, but this is where we get to build on top of our items. And I'd say it's maybe the lack of global standards sometimes that makes our job a little bit more difficult, where we have to design something that will work in multiple countries in slightly different ways, but always verify that they work correctly in the right country. So,
yeah, and I guess that might be the problematic thing here, that there are different rules and regulations in different countries that you need to adapt to with your products.
Yeah,
I think for the filtration, it's quite globally that we can standardize, but for the medical air systems, it's totally different.
Less so. Yeah,
you have the UK, you have the
you have about 6 different standards off the top of my head that we would have, and you can tell always the intent behind these regulations. They somewhat have a similar meaning. It's just the different way that they've gone into putting those into effect and how they're measured. But it's understanding the intent of why these are there and what's happened as a result in the past that's caused us to think this different way. That really helps us to be able to shape those products the way we do. So.
As the need for ultra-high purity gases increases, what are the most critical partnerships and collaboration in the supply chain that help you meet the application-specific demands?
We always want to deliver the correct solution for the life science facility owner, who is the ultimate client. So it's important to work with the construction team. And in practice, what that really means is being an excellent product integrator, right? So we all know that the group manufactures best-in-class products, but finding a home for those very specialized products is both a challenge and it's quite fun to do. So we regularly work with design engineers and building trades and architects as a team, such that the end result for the ultimate client, the building owner, is as it should be.
Yeah, indeed, and collaboration is key. So we work closely together with filtration material suppliers, research institutes, but also with customers. And it's not enough to build a good product. It's really needed to understand how your product performs in the real world applications. And that's why we currently are building application labs in Belgium, where we will work closely with the customers to solve their specific challenges. So we will simulate their processes, and then we will come up with the best engineered filtration solutions. Typically, it's a phased step approach. So we really optimize the full system towards their fluids. That really brings accelerated innovation and also added value for the customers.
Looking ahead, what emerging technologies or trends in your field are you most excited about for the future of life science and the effect on human health? So, in other words, what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah. Well, the world is passing through an amazing transformation nowadays with the robotics, digitalization, artificial intelligence, and life science is on the same wave, I would say. Also, a lot of biomedicine, a lot of new drugs coming every day, and so on. It's very interesting to be in this moment where you see this conversion of these technologies, because now, for example, there is a lot of research using AI to improve new medicines, to improve food and beverage. We discussed a bit about cultivated meat. So AI is speeding up all these developments. Yeah? This is all to make the people in the world living better. So I think people will live longer. I think the person that lives 150 years, it's among us somewhere already. I think people will live longer and longer. But not only about living longer, but living with a better quality of life. So I think it's also an answer to solve some of our problems in disease and in the hunger, diseases like cancer, Alzheimer, and so on. So I'm really looking forward not only for people living longer, but living better. So, and I think we are every day getting closer to that.
I agree with you, Rodolfo. The emergence of AI has numerous implications for life science research. Obviously, one of the most important aspects of life science is the development of new medicines, which is an extremely slow and challenging process, right? So a very small percentage of lead compounds actually wind up becoming approved medicines. So the hope is that, AI will, take the most likely, probable, successful candidates of these compounds and bring them to clinical trial and ultimately result in approved medicines quicker than is currently being done.
Yeah, for sure, it's a game changer. This data, also for filters. Filters typically don't have data today, but by extending connectivity beyond the compressors, we give the filters also a voice. And when I think of another exciting development, not in the AI, but it is the use of lithographic 3D printing to create microfilters, microfibers, microfilters with a very specific pore structures. So this would really enable to design membranes with a pore size like you want to have, with a specific to reach specific filtration performance. Which today, typical traditional production cannot reach. So this is also a very interesting development going forward.
And to go back to your point about the data and the data sets that we're getting from all the items, not filters, but everything in general is, AI and the teachings of the models highly dependent on data sets, and that's really critical not only for us but for the researchers that are using our products. So if I approach this as a future patient, which everyone can relate with, eventually you're going to want to get the best care you can, and the research that goes into this is heavily reliant on the data that the researchers can get. So I think the more that we keep up with the trends of what the researchers need, especially from our products, we can provide them with more useful information that will help them come to these conclusions.
This wraps up today's Life Science Technology episode. For more information about us, go to atlascopcogroup.com. In the upcoming episodes, we will continue to explore important technologies that help society function seamlessly. Thank you to Ben, Rodolfo, Isabelle, and Craig, and to all you listeners out there. Take care and see you soon.